Hello, my name is Les Williams, and you're following along with us as we learn our Shopbot desktop. Alright, it's time to try to make this thing work for our first cut. Okay, so we've done the basic setup, so again we're just trying to follow the instructions the way they came out here so you guys can see how we're learning how to do this. So basically what it tells us to do is to take this baby off. It's a dust collector. And we're going to take this collar off here. One thing I've noticed on the videos and also the instructions is they're pretty serious about this thing staying clean. Of course, there's no reason for it to be dirty right now, but every time they say take this off, to blow it out, be careful nothing gets up in here, to mess it up. So we have that. Inside one of the things that we have, I've got the 1/4 inch down cut. Basic is the basic bit, and we're going to get the collar here, collet. That's the right size. So this is the 1/4 inch one. Alright, so again it's brand new and ready to go. Alright, so you take this thing, insert this thing till it clicks. Spring in there. It shouldn't fall out when you do this. It should spin freely and be dust free. So mission accomplished. You take this, about 75 to 80% of it needs to be inside of here, so it has sufficient grip. So it doesn't fall right out, at least not right away. So it should be pretty easy to go ahead and get this thing in here and hand tightened. It should move freely, shouldn't be forced. So I'm just going to make sure it doesn't fall out and hand tighten it. Looks good. And tighten it some more. Get the handy little adjuster here. There's magnets, so sometimes you think you're connected when you're really just sticking to the magnet. Special gripper goes in the bottom. Hand grip, they say a good hand squeeze is all you need. Some of those guys at Shopbot look pretty meaty, so I should be safe not over tightening it. And there we go. I think the book said if you had a torque, wrench device, 59 feet torque, something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to over tighten it, that's for sure. So, of course, if it's too loose, it won't cut because the thing will be spinning in there, and that's not good. All right, reattach this buddy for the dust. Then, of course, the next step is to, since I haven't played with this machine since yesterday, I'm going to go through setting the 0 points for X and Y, and then the one for Z, and then we'll go on to the next step after that. Okay, here we are continuing with, here we are learning Shopbot. Again, we have no CNC experience at all. Do not work with these guys and never attended a workshop because we're in Arkansas, pretty stereotypical school setting, yet we need this technology, and this seemed like a very reachable way for us to start with this desktop version of Shopbot. 2418 is the model that we're on. So we just started up the software. I have a little laptop over here running the code that will control the machine over here. Love the book with the pretty pictures. That's the only way I'm getting through all of this, so thank you guys. I am going to have to just deal with dust today because I'm talking over this, and I have a little shop vac I can attach to it. But since I'm just doing the first step of kind of cleaning up this deck, I'm not going to resurface it today. I'm just going to try and get the edge on here so we see very clearly where the 0 point is on this deck. So it's going to basically going to make a little shelf, little indentation over here, so that shouldn't create too much dust. The process for surfacing this, we don't know exactly the thickness. This came pre-installed this way from the guys at Shopbot, but we're going to go through the routine of taking off a little bit of a layer here so we know that this is perfectly level on the surface, relative to the surface anyway, so that our pieces will turn out exactly the way we want them when we learn how to do them. But we'll do that a little bit later when I have the vacuum running, because that's going to create a nice layer of dust here. Before I begin, I have my cool key, which the kids love. They saw me turn it on when I was making sure that we had a workable model when it came out of the box. This is on the on position, and it basically powers this unit here. This is an emergency on and off button, so it's in the on position like this. The idea is if there's an emergency, I do work with kids, so we will use all safety precautions. But it's nice that there's a quick way to turn this off if I get afraid or someone gets afraid and you just want a quick way. You push that down and it turns the power frequency modulator, this unit right here, which I've turned on. I'm getting ready to do the warm-up routine. It's at a frequency of 100. That's about half normal for wood from what I've read, and I'll do another warm-up routine at 200 at full speed. The idea is you need to warm up the bearings that are in this unit so that you get the most life out of them. So they're recommending it, this warm-up routine. I'm getting toward middle age, so I've got a bit of a belly on me now. So I know that I got to be careful. I don't want to accidentally run into this as I'm walking by and turn it off halfway through a job. There's a way to recover from that. From what I've read at the end of the book, or at least the way I saw briefly at the end, there's instructions for that, so that must be something that happens from time to time. I'm just going to have to exercise more or learn to step away from the machine when I come around the corner. Alright, so exercise is probably the better idea. So I'm going to go through the setup routine now and set this up. The idea is we want to find 0, 0 on the board so that the relative instructions that go out are clear to the machine, and then the same 0 point for the z-axis. It's pretty straightforward. There's a button on the machine that takes care of the XY routine, so let's go ahead and run that. That's the sound to step away from the machine. And work's about to happen perhaps. That's when you want to make sure your goggles, and if you have a dust mask, if you have some kids who are sensitive to dust and whatnot, they would probably put that on in addition to anything else. I got to make sure everything's away from the moving parts. The moving parts from the back and on the side. So definitely when that sound goes off, we'll be backing away. And then these boxes and stuff I have off to the side, they have to be clear of the machine as well. So it went ahead and done all it's going to do at this point. It's now zeroed in X and Y direction. It's all very exciting. Now what I want to do is I'm going to manually move it over and back. And just so you can see this part, I'm going to take the dust off. We're not cutting the cover off because we're not doing anything there. And see, I just hit the power off switch. So my software's not going to like that at all. So I'm just going to flip it back on. See how easy that was? I just kind of reached over and hit that booger. A little warning box came up and said, do you want to retry communicating to the box again? I said yes. So it's out there and I located the tool. And while I'm out here, I'm going to go ahead and, you don't have to do it X, Y, and then Z. So I'm going to go ahead and Z it. And then since I turned it off and on, I'm going to make sure that my X and Y is still good. So this is a little bit that you do the up and down. This is the Z1. It needs to know where the surface is. It's smart enough to know when you make contact here. If I touch this to this port here, I should get something, but of course first what I need to do is make sure I've got this thing connected to something. So I'm just set it to the collar here so I can get a circuit, and now I can see when I touch these two things on the software, right, that there's a light on input that comes off and on, so I know I'm good. Alright, so this is right under it. I know I'm good there, so I'm going to go ahead and press the button on the software that allows me to Z it. So let's press that, and you'll see it come down and touch it twice. Alright, don't forget to take this off, remove this thing, and put it away. Now memorize the position, which is way over there somewhere. So just get this thing out of the way. I'm having it go back way over there. Which turns out, according to my thing, to be X 23.2 inches, Y 17 inches, and I have it at 0.5 or half an inch on the Z. So that's all there is to this little step. That's all that's involved in getting it ready to do work. Now I'm going to get it prepped and ready to go ahead and cut this rabbit. A little indentation all the way around this board so it's ready to do its first job. Okay, so we have it ready to go pretty much, and the next thing is the warm-up routine. This is what we're here for anyway. I've set the control box to F100, which they tell me is half the speed needed for cutting wood. It's about times 6, so is that 6,000 RPMs or something like that? I'll check those numbers for you, but it's going to spin fast. The whole idea of turning it on and letting it run for 10 minutes at this speed is simply let the ball bearings get warm. So we're going to do it at half speed basically for 10 minutes, and then at full speed for another 10 minutes, and then we're ready to cut wood. So according to the directions here, when we open the yellow keypad, which we have, we're going to click on the input 1 button, output 1, and it says OK to start router, cancel to terminate, blah blah blah. I don't want to cancel, so we're going to let it run. It should turn it on. So this is the very first time we've had it actually spin. We've had it move around before. Of course, I can look underneath this thing and see it going. I like the idea of not seeing it right for the kids, but we can hear it's going. It's going to run for 10 minutes. They suggest you do this at the beginning of every day, or if it's been about 3 hours since you've run it last. Which means pretty much every time I run this machine, I'm going to have to warm it up for about 20 minutes. 10 minutes on this, 10 minutes on full speed. I saw somewhere in some of the software, and I don't see where that's happening yet, but there's a control panel where you can input codes, and the code C5, if I'm remembering this correctly, is a routine that's already built in to help it do this. So maybe there's a little bit quicker way, another way to do the warm-up routine. But again, the purpose of this is just to follow the startup manual which they gave us. And so far, it's working really well. These pictures, there's really no way to mess this up. And having no experience with these machines and getting this far, great job with the manual. I think we'll be fine. So 10 minutes of this, then we'll switch it to high gear in 10 minutes more, and then we'll be ready to start cutting. So it's been running about 10 minutes, somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes. So now we're going to up it to 200, a frequency of 200. That gets us to a typical cutting speed for wood. And of course I'm hearing it going faster as I turn it up. We'll try to be gentle with it since it's its first good time. Okay, it's right at 200, so we're going to let it go for another 10 minutes and then it'll be ready to go. So we've loaded the part, basic deck 2, just like it says here in the book. And file name is listed. No, it says O3 Quick Jowl, that's not what we want. Oops, I made a mistake.
You have to do that over?
Yeah, let's cancel that. Right, design. That's not it. Preview part. We want the basic deck with a rabbit profile, whatever that means. Alrighty, so that matches up. Now click the start button.
Should there be wood on there?
This is actually going to cut this thing back here. So I'm thinking we need to back everything up because it's going to get dusty.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah?
Yes. Why does it do that?
Oh, let's just see what happens.
Why? That's cool.
Well,
Cut part.
you think so?
Yes.
Something went awry. Cut part. Alright, so let's go number 2 basic and start. Maybe I was in preview mode. Is tool number 2 in the spindle? Well, you know, I just don't know if that's tool number 2 or not. It'll just say yes, because that's the one that was in the instructions. Is the Z-axis zeroed? Yes. Is it okay to start the router?
Mm-hmm. Do it, do it, do it.
Whoa! You should have put the dust cover on it. You have a little vacuuming to do. This makes a better video. Okay, so we forgot the dust cover. That would have been better. So we're getting a better show this way anyway. Oh, it's going further. We're vacuuming for us. Yeah, well, yeah, for you.
I'm so happy right now.
That's some kind of cool, isn't it? Alrighty, so you definitely need to get a dust collector system in place for this. That's not a problem. We got that all figured out. Feel comfortable with that. Of course, I like my dust collection system right here. She does a pretty good job.